Hi everyone, today we will present the topic Models of Non-Economic Growth. We have 4 group members, which including JIANG, DINGSHUO, ZHANG, HAOTIAN, HAIYU, and YUKE. First part is abstract. Differences in income and development across countries are often rooted in non-economic growth, where even small differences in growth rates can lead to large wealth gaps over time. While traditional models like Soros attribute growth to capital accumulation and external technological progress, more recent endogenous theories emphasize the role of evolution, human capital, and knowledge generated within the economy. This report compares these two frameworks to explore the mechanism behind sustained growth and explain why some countries grew faster than others despite similar starting points. Next part.
The second part is a basic series about Romer's growth model and the swallow model. And I will first introduce the Robert Swallow's neoclassic growth model, which was proposed in 1966 and remains a fundamental theories in understanding long-term economic growth. This model is based on 3 key assumptions: diminishing returns to capital labor, and a production function with a constant return to scale, and the technological progress that is treated as an exogenous factor, meaning it comes from outside the model, not determined by economic behavior. In this framework, capital accumulation and labor force growth can explain short-term increase in output. However, due to diminishing returns, these factors alone cannot sustain growth in long run. That's why in Swallow's model, long-term growth is only possible through the technological progress. One important implication is that government politics, such as increasing savings or investment, can affect the traditional dynamics, but not the steady state growth rate. This suggests a limited role for government intervention in influencing long-term economic growth. And next, let's look at Paul Romer's endogenous growth theory, which he developed in 1990s. Romer's model was designed to overcome the limitation of Swallow's model by internalizing the source of technical progress. In Romer's framework, technology is not something that just happens. It's a result of economic choices. He highlights the importance of human capital, research and development, and the knowledge failovers. These elements generate increasing returns that can offset the diminishing returns of physical capital, allowing sustained growth over time. This model shows that politics matters. Investing in education, supporting innovation through R&D subsidies, and protecting intellectual property rights are all crucial to promoting long-term growth. It also helps explain why different countries experience different growth rate. It's not just about the capital, but about how societies invest in knowledge and innovation.
Okay, that's my part. Comparative study of Seoul and the Romer growth models. Similarities between Seoul and the Romer models. First, long-term focus. Both models aim to explain the sources of sustained economic growth rather than short-term fluctuations. Second, capital and technology. Acknowledge that capital accumulation and technological advancement are essential for output growth. Last, steady state growth emphasize the extensive balanced growth path where key variables grow at constant rates. Next, differences between Seoul and Roma models. First, technological progress. Seoul treated as exogenous, outside the model. Roma treated as endogenous, influenced by R&D, innovation, and economy incentives. Second, returns to capital. So assumes domination returns due to fixed technology. Roman ideas and knowledge accumulation can sustain or rise return. Third, human capital role. So included indirectly via labor productivity. Roma central to growth, especially in idea generation and innovation. Fourth, policy implication and development insights. Role model policy has limited long-term impact, can speed up convergence to steady extent, but cannot change the growth rate. Role model policy can rise long-term growth rate, encourages government to actively support innovation and knowledge sectors. Fifth, source or growth. So growth comes from external technology shocks not explained by the model. Roman growth is driven by internal economic forces, especially human capital and knowledge accumulation. Conclusion: the Seoul model explains convergence and the capital depending, but lacks explanation for technological change. The Roman model addresses this by endogenous innovation, making it more realistic and policy relevant. It highlights the importance of human capital, education, and innovation system for long-term nation development.
This is my part, cross-country comparison based on Roma theory. We compare the knowledge-driven and resource-dependent growth. The theoretical background is Roma's endogenous growth theory. The growth is driven by internal forces, knowledge, innovation, and human capital. The key drivers is, first one, knowledge as a non-rival good. Second, R&D investment and education level determine long-term growth. The last one is government policies enhance innovation system development. So this table is our data. We compare indicators South Korea and Brazil. Our indicator is R&D expenditure, researchers per million people, tutorial education enrollment rates, average their GDP growth. The South Korea and Brazil. So the South Korea is a case of knowledge-driven growth. First one, heavy R&D investment fosters continuous technological advancement. Second, strong scientific talent base 17.18 researchers million. Third, high education enrollment 93% builds human capital. Fourth, government supports innovation-friendly policy environment. Last one is consistent with Roma's model of sustainable growth through internal knowledge generation. The Brazil is a case of resource-dependent growth. First, relies on commodity exports, low R&D 1.3%. Second, lacks innovation, infrastructure, and skilled technical workforce. Third, education system underperformers, 51% tutorial enrollment. Last one is weak policy, focus on long-term knowledge, investment, growth consistent by lack of endogenous innovation circle matching Roma's warning. So let's make a conclusion. Countries that invest in R&D, education, and innovation system can achieve sustainable, knowledge-driven growth. South Korea exemplifies this model, while Brazil highlights its absence.
The final part is a conclusion. Long-term growth depends not only on capital and labor, but on a country's ability to generate and apply new ideas. While Solo sees technology as external, Zomer views it as shaped by policy, education, and innovation. South Korea's focus on R&D and human capital shows how growth can be sustained from within, unlike Brazil's reliance on resources. Growth is not automatic. It comes from choices that support knowledge and creativity. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching.